create a good dashboard in Excel, you might want to add some visual elements, such as charts. Charts can be inserted into your dashboard by going to the Insert tab and selecting a chart type. As you see, you have many chart types: column charts, line charts, pie charts, bar charts, and also combinations of different chart types. If you want to insert a chart, you just select your chart data and choose one of these chart types. Afterwards, you might want to customize each of these chart elements, which can be done in the Chart Layouts tab, which is visible after you created your chart. Most chart types, such as column, line, or scatter chart types, have a horizontal and vertical axis. You can even add a secondary horizontal or vertical axis and customize the axis title or labels. You can also add a title to your chart and add labels to your data, and add a legend to your chart in case you're working with multiple categories, such as in a pie chart or stacked column or bar chart. I go back to my sales order sheet in Excel, and suppose that I now want to add a chart showing the sales amount over a period of time. Then I select my column order date and my column sales amount, and I go to Insert, Line, and I select a line chart. Suppose that I now want to move this chart to a new sheet, then I right click on the chart and select Move Chart. I enter a new sheet, which I call Sales Overview. Click OK. And as you can see, the chart is added to the worksheet Sales Overview. Suppose that I want to change the title of my chart, then I double click on the chart title and I enter a space in between sales and amount, and I enter euro in between brackets. I want to remove the legend, so I click on the legend sales amount, click on delete, and the legend is removed. Suppose that I want to edit my numbers in my vertical axis, then I click on my vertical axis numbers and I right click Format Axis. I go to Numbers and I select Decimal Places 2 because I don't want 3 decimal places. Click Close, and now there are only 2 decimal places. If I want, I can also add a trend line by going to Trendline. For example, choose a linear trend line, but I do not want this, so I remove the trend line. Suppose that I do not want any horizontal grid lines, and I go to Grid Lines, Primary Horizontal Grid Lines, and I select None. Suppose that I want to format my data series, then I can right click my data series, Format Data Series, and for example I can choose to decrease the width of my lines. So I go to Line Style, go to Width, and decrease the width to 1 point. For more format options, I can either go to Chart Tools Format, or I can right click on the elements that I want to format. To change the chart type or data series, I go to Design, and to change the elements within my layout, I go to the Layout tab. Suppose that I now want to create a line chart which shows both the sales amount and discounted sales amount. Then I can select my columns order date, sales amount, and discounted sales amount. And I go to Insert, Line, and I select a line chart. And as you can see, I have now created a line chart which combines both the sales amount and discounted sales amount into one chart. I now move this chart to the Sales Overview tab. And I now want to change this chart because I do not want to have lines, but I want to have a stacked column chart. So I go to Design, Change Chart Type, and I select the stacked column chart. If I select clustered column, it will give me a separate column for both sales amount and discounted sales amount. If I select stacked column, it will give me one column which combines sales amount and discounted sales amount. I can also add a chart title simply by going to Chart Layouts and selecting the Layout 1. And I call this chart Sales Amount Euro in between brackets. And I change the format of my vertical axis labels so that I only have 2 decimals. I also add a title to my dashboard, Sales Overview. And I also add the total sales amount, which is equal to the sum of the sales amount in the sales orders tab. I also add another chart, which I call Sales by Store. And I calculate the total sales amount of store A, total sales amount store A, and the total sales amount store B, which is equal to sum if the range store criteria store A sum range sales amount. Do the same for store B. And now I want to insert a pie chart, so I select my total sales amount for each store and I go to Insert Pie Chart and I insert my pie chart. I also want to add a title to my chart and also add percentages. So I select Layout 6 and I change the title to Sales by Store and put percentage in between brackets. Suppose that I also want to add the euro amount to my chart, then I right click on my data series and I click on Format Data Labels. I go to Label Options and I select Value. To change the format of my percentages, I go to Number and I enter 2 decimals, percentage, and press Close. Finally, I go to Format and change the labels to a white text fill. I also change my text fill to bold. And my sales overview dashboard is now complete.